if I didn't have the Austrian citizenship, like if my grandpa hadn't passed that down, maybe I would have never become interested in learning German. Maybe I wouldn't have done this jump to go and study in Austria, and then I wouldn't have gotten that job, which connected me with the guy that owns the company that does the same thing in German, which became a business partner to found my own company. My dad had no idea that I was going to do this, but he decided when I was born to go and register me at the Austrian consulate anyway, because who knows, like he might need this in the future.
Taxes and international business setups are a topic digital nomads can't stop talking about. And so can't we here in the Nomad Summit Podcast. Today I'm sitting together with Francisco of Settee.
Yes.
That's how you pronounce your business name?
Yes.
Where's that name coming from?
So it's actually from a sail that helps you sail against the wind. So it was like a bit of a concept alignment, I think. But afterwards, we chose it before we saw the SEO. And when you search it, you get a bunch of sofa recommendations, right? Because Settee is also sofa in English. But in Portuguese, there's no conflict. But in the English-speaking SEO, it kind of kicked us out there.
So you're a sailor as well?
No, I'm not a sailor directly, but we took the analogy.
Okay, because you had my trigger point. I'm a sailor, and I immediately raised my ears like a hunting dog.
But our logo is a little sailboat.
Perfect. Portuguese language, you say. So where's that background coming from?
So I'm originally from Brazil. And also most of our team. And we saw a big opportunity in the Brazilian market to discuss these things. Because when I was founding the company was 2020, we actually launched in 2021. And back then there was almost nothing of this content in Portuguese, right? Like, the Nomad Capitalist was already out there. Expat Money was already out there. A lot of the, guys that create content on these international tax strategies and relocation strategies were already present and growing in English, but like there was basically one channel in Portuguese that talked about these kinds of things, and there was another one that's like mostly just investment related, but like international investment. So we saw a big gap in this educational content for the Portuguese speaking market, and actually that's something that I noticed. That's a big success formula, is like seeing what's working well in the States and then just translating it to Portuguese or translating it into Spanish, right? Even like YouTube channels. I see huge Brazilian YouTube channels that do like these map geopolitics videos, like why does Portugal have so much sea territory, or why is like 80% of this country uninhabited, these kinds of things. Like there's a lot of these geopolitics channels in English that then the guys just straight up make the same content in Portuguese and they make a killing. I wanted to bring this more into my country because I think there was a huge opportunity.
So it just started like from a cold-headed market observation and seeing a business opportunity, or do you have some personal passion about topics like taxes?
So how I got to this was actually through personal passion. I am Brazilian Austrian, right? So ever since I was a child, I was very much into genealogy and, like these citizenships by descent and seeing how all of this works. And I went to live and do my studies in Austria because I have the Austrian citizenship, and the education there is, better price-quality ratio than Brazil.
Sounds like a wild combo. It's Austrian-Brazilian.
It's rare, but not that rare. You have many like Brazilian Germans, Brazilian Italians, Brazilian Poles. It's just Austrians is a smaller community, of course. But like I was always fascinated by these second citizenships and options to claim citizenship by inheritance. And I also was very, very interested in all of these special tax programs and how to pay less taxes. Let's say I'm a bit libertarian by my pre-inclinations. Like I don't like paying a lot of taxes. I don't like dealing with bureaucracy.
You mean the Austrian School of National Economics?
Exactly. I was very much interested in Austrian economics. Actually, that's one of the reasons I went to study in Austria. I thought they would, teach Austrian economics there. I found out oh wait, they don't actually teach this here. They just teach regular economics. So I went to do business mathematics instead. Yeah, they teach us. they teach economics in Austrian instead of Austrian economics. So I was like, okay, I'll just do informatics. Works better. But I originally went to Austria to study economics because of this passion. But on my own, already was consuming a lot of content about, like the Malta non-dom regime and the Portuguese and HR, like all of these different things and like places I could go or things I could do after I finished my studies in Austria.
That's a weird passion. I shared it myself in my main job. I'm an insurance broker. So I read the fine print and the general conditions, but also I get often asked like what went wrong in my childhood that I enjoyed this. So I need to pass on this question to you. What went wrong in your childhood that you like this stuff?
I think all of us need a weird hobby, right? It's good to have niche interests. The world is better off because some people have their niche interests and they become very specialized in something and then, share that knowledge in a more digestible form to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's a topic that no one really likes. If you can help people to navigate that with your expertise, people are very, very grateful. I feel that myself. And I guess it's very similar to your business.
100%. So actually, I think this ends up being a case for dual citizenship as well, like the butterfly effects that things like this produce, right? So because I had the Austrian citizenship since birth, I was always interested in learning German, connecting to that, the language that my grandpa speaks and being able to speak it with him and go study in Austria. So I went to study in Austria. And because I was studying in Austria, I got the opportunity to work at the Free Cities Foundation, which is, Honduras Prosper? Like they have some nomads over there as well. Like they were basically helping that project and promote other projects like that. And the founder was originally looking for an assistant that was based in Central European time, spoke German, spoke English, and I brought in the additional point of Portuguese because there's a big community there we could address and reach. So I got that job, and through that job I got to meet Christoph Heuermann from Staatenlos, which does the same thing that I do now in German. And I devoured his content on my own. And I saw that he was partnering with people to bring that content into Spanish, into French, into Russian, into English as well. And I hit him up and I had become friends with him through this connection. I think, Chris, did you ever think of, doing the same thing in Portuguese? And he was like, yeah, I just, never found anyone to do it with that I could trust. Like, all right, let's do it. So, I have my own company and we have ebooks and courses and content that we translate and adapt from German, like a franchise agreement there with Christoph.
But your main target audience for your business
is for Brazilians, Portuguese
as well.
We had some Angolan clients even, but mostly it's Brazilians and Portuguese, yeah.
And some Creole dialect like in Cabo Verde.
Yeah. We didn't have many clients from Cape Verde. It's a very small country. But we became very, very good and very specialized on doing the stuff on the ground in South America, which is our main area of expertise. So Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina.
So you also speak Spanish?
Yeah, fluent. Paraguay, Colombia. So we have a lot of now international clients from referrals, from Staatenlos in German or from Spanish-speaking companies and English-speaking companies that send clients to us because we're really good at, doing the Brazil residency or doing Brazil taxes and these kinds of things. So now we actually launched a website in English just to be able to have something for this growing number of clients that we had that don't speak Portuguese but ended up coming to us. So if I didn't have the Austrian citizenship, if my grandpa hadn't passed that down, maybe I would have never become interested in learning German. Maybe I wouldn't have done this jump to go and study in Austria, and then I wouldn't have gotten that job, which connected me with the guy that owns the company that does the same thing in German, which became, a business partner to found my own company. So I always like framing these kind of things in generational terms even, right? My dad had no idea that I was going to do this, but he decided when I was born to go and register me at the Austrian consulate anyway, because who knows, he might need this in the future, right? So he went and got me the Austrian papers from my birth, because I was born in Brazil. You automatically get everything from Brazil, but you actually have to go and register for Austria that, hey, I had a kid. But he did.
So your father also had the Austrian citizenship?
My father is Austrian, but he doesn't speak a word of German, right? He speaks Hallo and ein Bier bitte. So,
it helps to survive.
That's important in German, of course.
Uma cerveja, por favor.
Uma cerveja, por favor. So he did that for me, right? And that's
Ordered the beer for you. That's what he did.
he gave both. When I became old enough, he ordered beer for me, and he gave me the citizenship. So, like when you think of what can I leave for my kids, or what can I, give to my wife, or to future generations, that's a powerful gift, man. Like in the case of Europe, it's like access to a whole continent, right? And
Absolutely. And it looks like those people with interest in taxes and setups, they have all some kind of a weird relationship with nation and passport. Like in a previous episode of this podcast, we were talking with Bogdan Danchuk, who is doing similar things like you do. And he grew up without any citizenship. So he only...
stateless.
Yes, literally. So he was born in today's Ukraine, back then Soviet Union just falling apart, with his family moving to Israel with him. So he was not really Ukrainian on arrival, but also not yet Israeli.
Okay.
So he had to wait until he was 18 years old to decide which citizenship first, and then applied for the Israeli one, got a passport, and 6 hours after he received his first passport, he was sitting on an airplane leaving the country. So there was this relationship, and for everyone interested in that story, look it up. It's episode 17 of the Nomad Summit Podcast.
If you're enjoying the Nomad Summit Podcast, share it with your community. Every share helps more people discover the tips, stories, and inspiration we bring you each week. So, hit that share button and help us spread the Nomad Summit spirit around the world.
But back to you. So you were gifted with both of these citizenship from birth. But tell us a little bit more about your personal story. I guess even though you have this Austrian background, learned German, pretty sure you did not go straight from primary school to tax fetish.
No, so I went to study in Austria. I did my bachelor in business informatics. I started a master's program. I did like 1 year of it, and then came the time where I wanted to start this company. And the way we were going to structure it, I actually needed a proper company. I wouldn't just like register as a micro entrepreneur, like Gewerbe. So I looked at it and was like, okay, 25% tax on the profits in Austria. And then when you distribute the profits, the dividends have another 27.5 for a business that was earning zero still. So I was like, oh, nah, this is not going to cut it, right? I was already paying some taxes in Austria because I was freelancing, I was doing like website design. I had this other job, so that was okay. But then, having an own business is tough here. Like that's not incentivized by most of Europe, right? Like few European countries actually incentivize business creation. Malta, Cyprus, Ireland, Madeira Island, Bulgaria, Hungary. There's Estonia, of course.
One of Nomad Summit's big supporters.
Yeah, so there's some European countries that are actually like making an effort to attract companies. But some of them, like on the tax side, are very, very hard. So I decided I'm going to pause my master's and I'm going to go nomad, right? I'm going to go to Portugal. I booked a place back then was like in a hostel, at a 6-bed hostel room. And let's see, right? Let's see if this works out. If this works out, then great. If this doesn't work out, then I can just go back to my master's and back to the life that I was leading before. So
how long is that ago?
That was in 2021.
And you never went back?
And I never went back. I went to visit Austria, but I haven't been...
just for be a bit?
Yeah, just to see my friends, see people from uni, etc. So that was really fun, right? Starting out as a nomad, like really grassroots nomad experience, like trying to work from the kitchen table in the hostel. Like some people are having dinner on the other side and you're trying to make a call and it's like, fuck, I need to make more money. But, it was still kind of COVID season, right? So actually there weren't that many people in Portugal at the time. So I did get a lot of time to think and plan and work through things. And worked really well. And a lot of things changed since then. Like, for example, when I started, I actually had an Estonian OÜ, right? I incorporated initially as an Estonian company, then seeing how we were actually going to do business internationally, also some different trends that affected my business, decided, I'll reincorporate it as a US LLC. So we did that change. I originally just left as a nomad and just said bye to Austria, but I didn't actually get established anywhere. That's actually something that I mention a lot to our nomad clients, right? Maybe when you leave, you can stay around for a while before actually looking for a residency for yourself, but it's not a long-term solution, right? It shouldn't even be a mid-term solution. It should be a short-term solution because, eventually the banks and the brokerages and the accounts are like, hey, can you send us an updated proof of address? Can you send me your current tax number? Can you send me your things? And I ended up losing some good accounts because of that, right? Because I didn't have anywhere to show and trying to do these makeshift solutions to get a proof of address. So eventually I did the Paraguay residency, and that's been my main residency, though by now I've also gotten approved for Chile and also doing Colombia. So I've been, for my case, because those are bases that I actually like and places I want to spend time in and build a bit more roots. And that's also something that I see as a pattern for nomadism, is starting off more, I want to soak up as much of the world as I can. And then eventually I do want a bit more rhythm, a bit more routine, and then finding 1, 2, 3 places where you want to, recurrently come back to. It still has a big impact on productivity and quality of life, man. Last 1-2 months, I've been one different country every 1-2 weeks. And that versus having just a place where you can hang out for 6 months in a row is very different in terms of what you get accomplished, right? You get very different things accomplished.
6 months is a lot.
I just did 5 months in Medellin. That was very, very good. I got my blue belt in jiu-jitsu. You don't do that when you're 1 week every place.
Yeah, in the end, it comes down to having a good balance. I mean, my personal lifestyle is I have places that I really enjoy to come back to. That used to be Madeira Island. I'm giving that up now. It's always in the summer Estonia for me. I'm going for 3-4 months every year to Estonia because I just fell in love with the country, the people, the mentality, the nature. So that's for me definitely a place to decompress and get stuff done and have also this vibrant startup ecosystem around me with people that are very much forward thinking, and this techno-libertarian state and business setup. That is a really inspiring place. But then I always try to keep balance between coming back to places where it kind of feels like coming home and exploring new places. So
I think that's really the way to do it. And I think we're talking about the same thing, right? It's what I've been doing the last 2 years is basically 4-5 months in Colombia, 4-5 months Brazil, and then 2 months of intense travel and getting to see new places and go to conferences and go to different places. So I think that's a really good balance, right? Where you can have enough of stability and enough of adventure that you don't feel I don't like where I'm at now. I want the other thing. No, you get to enjoy both at the proper amount. But this is individual, right? Everybody has a different mix of what they like.
Right now we are in Athens. We met here around the Athens Nomad Fest. Where are you going next?
After this, I'm going to Cluj, Napoca in Romania for...
Rosenburg.
Is that the word in German?
I'm always so stunned by what Romanians are doing to the old names. I mean, there's cities like Hermannstadt that are now Sibiu, Kronstadt that have become Brasov. But the one that I'm always, I can't believe it. How drunk do you need to be if you live in Klausenburg and then tell the taxi driver, Cluj?
I remember when I first read of it in Lviv, Ukraine, which is a Lemberg in the original German. Yeah, like these repurposed names always get me. Yeah, so like I'm there for 10 days and still doing a bit more travel in Europe, then going back to LATAM for 1-2 months, then up to Asia, and mostly conferences and meeting clients or meeting business partners. And I think that's a really good thing when you're a digital nomad, like a competitive advantage, let's say, for your international business, is the ability you have to be creating content with people or participating in events or, meeting people in person all over the world because of it, right?
And the best travel is always when you go to a place for yourself for the first time, but you met at the airport by a local who takes you around and takes you all the little secrets, especially when it comes to food. Like, I love that so much when a local explains you how to eat this and that and what to order that you probably would never notice in the menu yourself. So the cultural immersion with the help of a local, it's just perfect.
Yeah, and that's something really invaluable. Like I was just in Dubai a few weeks ago, and I got received by business partners and clients, and just showing me around and taking me to see everything. And like you can enjoy the best of it at the same time while you get just more free time because you're having to plan less things. It's just like, hey, come over, I'm gonna take you out, have a nice time. It's like, all right, cool. Especially businesses that require a bit more of that, like handshake, personal trust, etc. Like in my case, it's not like, oh, I'm just selling you an ebook. It's, like we're making plans for like your wealth, for your diversification, for, a passport or something really big in someone's life. Like when you get a new citizenship. As much as we like remote working and as much as I also like remote working, doing these in-person moments really paid off for me. Like the returns that I've had on these kinds of things definitely outweighed the travel costs.
Nomad Summit is a brand and a platform for people on all stages on their way to financial freedom and location independence. Like we always define it like starting from being an employee to a remote employee and a freelancer, a founder, a business owner, an investor. So these steps towards more and more freedom. Where on those steps are your ideal clients?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I would say best is like if the person is looking to get a remote income, like when the person already has a more stable source of income and already has a bit more financial means that they're not at the like if you're at the level where you're really like scraping by, then it might make not too much sense to think of more complicated company structures or more advanced banking or like a lot of these programs. Focus on making more money first, right? Like if you're making 1K a month, the benefits you're going to get on like tax optimization, the effort you put into it is marginal compared to what you would get in like just invest in growing your income.
But then, also on the other side, if you have big ambitions and you're building something that has the potential to grow massively, then it might be at one point too late to restructure things.
Precisely. Like this is a big difference in, let's say you are a freelancer or you are going to found a services company or something that's easy to relocate, easy to, if I close it down, reopen it here, it's fine. Versus if you're doing something with physical operations or something that's like necessarily going to be sold, right? You want an exit, you want an IPO, so you have to be set up somewhere that's valuable for, potential investors. Like you're looking to attract capital, then that's a whole different game, right? If you want to attract capital, then you have to plan the jurisdiction from the get-go. But then that's a different case, right? Like if you're not then just making 1K, you're, founding a potential 1 billion startup, then you plan it right from the start.
But most of those big stories, Amazon stories and stuff, start somewhere in a garage where someone is making less than 1K a month at the beginning. So
yes, most times I would say that heuristic still works, right? Like focus on making money first and then just don't wait for it to get too big, right? Like if you're making like 5K a month, if you're making 10K a month, then you can already realistically look at this and plan it and organize it. And okay, maybe you have to, pay us an exit tax or something from the country you're in, but it's still doable and you're still at a level where you can still grow, right? I think those are the two main mistakes that people make. Like number one is guys come to me and, they're barely making 1K, 2K, and they're like, yeah, so I want to have a 2-layer identity, and I was thinking of combining a Dubai company with a Bahamas holding, and then if you could get the banking, like they're, way ahead of themselves. They're not focused on what's the core of what they should be doing, which is grow your income, grow your business. And the other one is the guy that already made, he's making 50K a month and he still didn't, he or she is making 100K a month and they didn't think of it. And now, like, if they actually want to move things around, it's already way more ossified and way more difficult to organize it. So the two mistakes are never thinking about it or obsessing too much about it before you have an actual thing to optimize, right? So I would say, like, starting at 5K, for a lot of people, it can already make sense, right? Starting at 10K, you really should already get into it. And if you're going over that, then you definitely should at least have a conversation to see if you're on the right path, if there's no glaring errors in the current setup.
Someone wants to start talking about these kind of things with you. What's the best way to reach you?
They can reach directly on our WhatsApp. It's a very very Brazilian thing that all services are on WhatsApp. You go to the doctor and you get their WhatsApp, and you send them questions and you keep contact over there. So we try to keep that service level for our audience as well. So they can reach out to us on WhatsApp or on Instagram or on Twitter. We're on all of the main social media platforms. You can also just send a contact form on our webpage.
Yeah, we put the links in the
any of them is fine. We're active on all of them.
But WhatsApp is an interesting thing that I recently figured out with my main job with insurance brokerage as well. I was never a big fan of WhatsApp, but at one point I was like, okay, we need to give in. Let's give it a try, and integrated WhatsApp Business into automations. Mm-hmm. So whenever you request an instant quote or something. Now I even force people, WhatsApp number is a required form field, taking us a little bit of as a sidetrack here, but might be valuable for some of our listeners as well. So all the conversion rate optimizers tell you, ask as little information as possible and only make required field what's really required. But I made a bold decision. I was like, you know what? Someone who really wants to do business with us, who is really interested in a quote, they have zero problem to actually leaving their WhatsApp because they want to communicate. Yeah. And so I actually noticed that, yes, I get a little bit less of requests, but those that I'm not getting are the fake requests. And as soon as I had implemented these automations that people get an instant message on WhatsApp with an open question, and if they respond, they get an actual physical response of someone of our team or even from myself, and you are immediately in a conversation stream. That's definitely one of my big learnings of the last 12 months of doing location independent business, that yes, it's not easy for me to admit as a Telegram fan and someone who tried to avoid WhatsApp as long as they could, but this works.
And look, if you're looking to do business in Latin America in particular, right, if you're targeting those markets, you absolutely need it, right? You're leaving so much money on the table. We were tracking this and getting the feedback of people that, maybe were thinking of closing with us, but ended up not closing. And very often one thing that we would get is I didn't understand if I should just purchase the service directly or if I should have a consultation or something. And there was no WhatsApp button for me to get this quick, right? Sometimes the person doesn't want to read the full service page. They don't want to see your landing page. They don't want to read all of your facts. They just want to can we do this? So it's super important in Latin America in particular, I would say. It's very different in the US, right? In the US, I still have a lot of contacts there that don't even have WhatsApp, right? Maybe they have Telegram, but they use, I don't know, iMessage or something like this.
Sounds a bit like we should at one point have a separate episode where we just talk with actual business owners about their latest insights in conversion rate optimization into activating leads and converting leads. But today's episode was about your story, Francisco, and the services that you offer. Thank you very much for being on this episode.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you for the invite.
And if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform and share it with your friends. You can leave comments in some of our platforms. You can also leave reviews and ratings. We are super grateful for that. And then hear you next week. Every Wednesday, we publish a new episode of the Nomad Summit Podcast.
produced by radioguru.co.uk.